Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Skip Elsheimer, and this is the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show that we've been doing since mid-March of last year. And welcome all my regulars on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. But also, I've just added a new place, which is called the Black Hole Monoplex. And I don't know if anybody's watching there, but I'm streaming there now. As an experiment. We're going to see if this works and people like it. It's basically just adding a new stream to what I'm already streaming, so it shouldn't be that much harder. Anyways, so we watch old 16mm films from the AV Geeks collection, and that last film was silent. You could tell, the way we scanned it, you could see the perf holes on both sides, so there was no soundtrack. And it is stock footage that Coronet Films shot. So they shot it for probably a film about Argentina or South America or Peru. I'm not quite sure because there's no notes that accompany the can. And then they edited it into their film, their educational film. And then whatever they had left over, they just compiled using white tape and made these big reels. Of leftover footage that they would use again, maybe in another project. So they were very resourceful and thrifty with that, and those films have never been run through a projector, and they're original Kodachrome, so they're beautiful, really, really pretty footage. So occasionally we show those, and we always start off with a silent film, so I can do tech checks and make sure everything is kind of running okay. I know what you're saying. It's been a while since I've shown a film about the metric system. And there were a bunch of them made in the 70s, mid-70s, anticipating that the United States was going to go metric. And then I guess something went wrong. Or the momentum kind of disappeared. I'm not sure what happened. Look it up. Anyways, this is Metric Meets the Inchworm. Not Urchworm, Inchworm. Enjoy.
Was I ever proud? Fred Inchworm. Inchworm of the year. Ink. A dink-a-dink. A dink-a-dink.
Big news, Fred.
What?
Starting tomorrow, it's a new kind of measuring. Oh, well, not new, really, but new to us. It's the kind all the rest of the world uses. And since we all do so much international trade, it'll simplify things if we all use the same system.
Well, I don't care what system we use, as long as we keep the inch.
But that's just the point, Fred. It's a whole new system. It doesn't use inches. It uses centimeters instead.
No inches at all?
No, none.
And you're starting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Then I quit. See you later, Daddy-O.
But wait, Fred, there's another reason for using metric. It makes arithmetic a lot easier. Here, let me show you.
Not me, kiddo. I don't want to have nothing to do with metric. Imagine a measuring system without inches. I've never been so mortified in my life. I'm gonna find me a job somewhere where they never heard of metric.
Well, from what you say about yourself, I'm sure you can learn car repair.
I can learn anything. Just lead me to it.
Great. Hand me that 4mm wrench.
Sure thing. Wait a minute. 4mm? What's a millimeter?
A millimeter is 1/10 of a centimeter. You know, there are about 2.5 centimeters in an inch.
Is that what you call the metric measuring system?
Sure. Everything made in foreign countries is on the metric system. We're the last major country still on the old system. Once we change over, we'll need only one set of tools instead of 2 complete sets.
No metric for this kid. Adios, muchachos.
Wait! Metric is really a good system. Here, I'll show you how easy it is to figure in it.
Not me, Buster. Find yourself another sucker. I'm gonna have to get away from metric. I know I'll go to work flying. I know they never heard of metric.
You say this is your first flight?
The first since the old days. Hey, how far have we come?
500 kilometers.
Kilometers? What's a kilometer?
A kilometer is roughly about 6/10 of a mile.
Is that what you call metric measuring?
Yes, all foreign countries are on the metric system. It used to be that every international flight would have to convert all its distance measurements mid-flight. But now that we're on metric, we don't have to. Also, it makes calculating much easier. Here, I'll show you.
Not me, buddy. I'm long gone. See you in the funny papers. Hey, you got any work for an airline pilot dropout?
Yeah, we're putting on a new roof and we could use someone to measure off the area.
That's me specialty. No sooner said than done. 1 inch? 2 inches? 3 inches?
Hey, wait a minute. Did I hear you say inches?
Sure. You want to get it right, don't you?
Sure we do, but we use metric here. You know, meters. They're just a little bigger than a yard.
I don't care how big they are. I'm allergic.
But it's really very simple. Instead of square yards, you use square meters. Let me show you.
Show it to your grandmother, Buster. I'm getting out of here. This is the kind of job I've been looking for. I know they never heard of metric down here.
It comes to 200 kilograms.
200 what?
200 kilograms. That's 200,000 grams.
What's a gram?
A gram? They're about 30 grams to an ounce. See, we changed over to metric measure so that we don't have to keep converting back and forth when we import or export to foreign countries, you know. Well, also, it's easier to figure with. Here, I'll show you.
Show it to someone else, kiddo. Me and metric got nothing to say to one another. Take down the sign. I'm your new man.
Oh, you're just in time. We just got a big order. A 27-layer birthday cake for a Yorkshire Terrier.
Where do I begin?
Well, you could start by measuring out the ingredients.
Let's see. A 27-layer cake? That would take 24 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 quarts of milk, 1 pint of molasses.
Wait a minute. Oh, we don't use cups and teaspoons and quarts and pints here. We use metric. Grams for dry measure and liters for liquid.
Liters?
Sure. Don't you know a liter is just slightly bigger than a quart?
In my book, anybody who uses liters is as nutty as a fruitcake. This world is full of loonies. I better go to one of them head doctors before they drive me loony too.
The disease you are suffering from is one we psychiatrists call metric phobia.
What is that in ordinary English?
Well, it simply means that you have a strong aversion to the metric measuring system.
You can say that again.
Oh, my. Looks like I'll have to call in a consultant who specializes in international psychosis, Dr. Farkelhoff.
Yeah, somebody called my name.
Oh, yes, doctor. We have a patient here who is suffering from the metric phobia syndrome, you know.
The first thing you must realize is that the conversion to metric is not a plot against you. America is just getting in step with the rest of the world.
Also, it makes a lot of sense because it makes arithmetic so much simpler.
Not for me. Stop the world. I want to get off. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I will get off. I came here to get away from all that metric business. I know they don't have metric measuring away from the Earth.
Oh, no, just the opposite is true. This whole space capsule is metric. You see, kilometers and meters for distance, kilograms and grams for mass, and liters for volume.
I think I just got cut off at the pass. This time I got no place to go but here.
The reason we use it is because it makes our calculations so much easier. Here, I'll show you.
Well, you got me surrounded. You can go ahead and show me, but don't expect me to like it.
In the old system, we had to do so many computations. For example, if you wanted to change 5,381 inches into feet, you had to write down a lot of numbers, then multiply them, divide them, subtract.
It's not easy.
But if you want to change 5,381 centimeters into meters, all you do is move the decimal point 2 places to the left. There. Your answer is 53.81 meters.
You haven't done any arithmetic.
Yes, I have. I moved the decimal point dividing by 100.
And you mean that's all there is to it?
Yeah. The metric system is so simple that all you have to do to make conversions is to move decimal points or add zeros. It makes figuring very easy.
How come nobody ever told me that? Metric, I come. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. That's one step for a worm and a giant step for mankind. And it's a meter. Dink, a dink, a dink, a dink, a dink, a dink, a dink.
So that was Stephen Bosistow. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that name. And Nick, who might have been his son. Anyways, they did a bunch of animation. Stephen, I think, actually worked for UPA and did like a lot of Mr. Magoo and a lot of cartoons like that, and did a lot of industrial films. So they show up a lot. This one is invoking Jimmy Durante, as most of you know, which that's probably the tail end of kids recognizing who Jimmy Durante is. I'm not sure. It's like in the mid-'70s. So I love watching films like this that are trying to say, like, hey, this is coming. Get ready. And I don't know if we totally got ready. So I think it was because the federal government recommended that we support metric and didn't dictate it. And so, you know, the mileage markers did not go from miles to kilometers. You know, although, you know, when you get soda, it's 2-3 liter. When you get drugs, it's all in some level of that. So there are some things that switched over. And certainly, I think a lot of cars are, since they're made in other countries, are have metric stuff. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to look back, and that's what we do: is we watch a film and then we kind of think like, how did that happen? Why did that happen? All right, so behind me is Telecine, which is a machine that we use to transfer film to video. And it goes from 24 frames a second to 30 frames a second, and then it runs through a conversion box, and then it gets broadcast to you live. So this is the ability for us to show films that we haven't digitized in the past, and I can just go in the back and look through the 20,000 plus films that are back there. There's more off-site, by the way. And I can just handpick and say, like, oh, we haven't seen this one, so let's watch this one. So this one is called Family Teamwork. And let's watch it. Alright, it doesn't seem to be cooperating. 1 second. Alright, let's try that again. So it's live. Alright, here we go. Enjoy.
To focus the picture and adjust the sound volume. The film will then be ready for correct projection.
Teamwork. We see it all around us. One person helping another to get things done, to do the hard jobs that none of us can do by ourselves. Teamwork builds houses, and teamwork makes music. The conductor, the musicians, all are part of a team, working together to create something worthwhile. Something better than each one could do all alone. Wherever you look, you'll find examples of teamwork. People at work or at play, pulling together, winning together as a team. Jamie Mendoza and his friends have a lot in common. They live in the same community. They go to the same school, and they all belong to a team. Not a basketball team or a baseball team, but an even more important kind of team. One that depends on a special kind of teamwork. We call it family teamwork.
Talk about feeling good. All I could think about all the way home was what was waiting for me. Just a month to go till summer vacation, and Dad was buying a trailer tent so we could sleep in it and eat in it and everything. Then we were going to go camping and hiking and fishing and have a great vacation. I was so excited I could hardly wait. That night, I heard the bad news. Dad said that we just didn't have enough money to buy that new trailer tent. So our plans for going camping were off. He tried to explain, but I just didn't understand. All I could think about was all of the fun I was going to miss out on. And then something funny happened. I stopped thinking about me, and I started to think about how disappointed the whole family must be. After all, they wanted to go camping just as much as I did. Then we got an idea. And we decided how we could have a great vacation after all. And we did. Maybe we didn't go on a trip, but we went on picnics and hikes and had fun anyway. We all had a great time because we were all together, like a team. I was sure feeling sorry for myself. I didn't get to play kickball at school today because I wasn't picked for the team. Dad was home early to work on some papers. He didn't even ask what happened to me at school. He'd forgotten that he promised to help me fly my glider when I got home from school. Meow. 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 I started thinking I hadn't been very nice. Dad said he was sorry too. He said the reason he didn't say much to me is because he needed to finish some important paperwork. Dad said I could watch TV if I wanted to, but I told him I'd do my homework instead. And that way, by the time I was all done, he'd be ready to help me fly the glider. Maybe it wasn't just the way we planned it. But anyway, we'd work things out together. Dad and I, we were a team. A real family team. I guess you could say that Connie and I were a team. We did everything together. In fact, my mom always said the only time we weren't together was when we were sound asleep. Today we were going skateboarding, and we were going to pick up our boards and tell our moms where we were going. The problem was, when I got home, Mom wanted me to help clean up the kitchen and get ready for company coming over for dinner. I thought, why should I have to stay home, just on account of a bunch of old dishes? Then I remembered all the times that Mom had stopped to do things for me. There'd really been lots of times like that. Times when maybe Mom would rather have been doing something else. The thing was, Mom and I were part of a team. So I just have to tell Connie the skateboarding was off because I wanted to help my mom. The funny thing was, the way it turned out, I had to stay home too. Dad needed help washing the car. It's not that I minded helping out, it's just that right now I'd rather go skateboarding. I thought Jill would feel the same way, but she didn't. Instead, she told me something important. She said I should think more about Dad's feelings. It made him feel good when the car was clean. He cared about his car as much as I cared about my skateboard. It was Dad who got it for me because he knew how much I wanted it. It made him happy to see me happy. When I first started, I kept falling down. But Dad kept telling me I could do it. Because he really cared about me. The more I thought about it, I know I should help Dad wash the car. Maybe it was one way of saying thanks for all he'd done for me. It felt good to be part of the family team. I was trying my best to pretend so nobody'd know, but for me it was the kind of day when everything went wrong. I mean, everybody said I was good in sports, but playing kickball in school today, all I could do was fall down. One thing I sure didn't want was to bother with my little sister Maria. It seemed like she was always breaking her skates or something, then expecting me to fix them. Then there was Mom. She'd just come home with the groceries, and now she wanted me to help her carry them up the stairs. I know I shouldn't have gone, but I couldn't see why I had to do everything. When I stopped to think about it, I really felt bad. I hadn't meant to, but I'd hurt my sister's feelings, and I'd hurt my mother's feelings. So I decided maybe things don't have to be this way. Maybe it's not too late to make them better. Mom took care of my elbow, and now everything was all right. She understood how I felt about the game. I was sure glad I came back. Mom said she'd make my #1 favorite dinner, beef tacos, with her own special secret sauce. Boy, it really felt good to be part of the family team.
Teamwork. What does it mean? It's working together. It's helping and sharing to bring out the best in us all. It's all much the same, no matter where or when it happens. For Jamie, teamwork meant carrying his share of the load. For Ron, it was learning that his father had feelings too. For Jill, it was wanting to help her mother. For Connie, it was remembering how much we all need each other. And for Greg, it was a matter of caring, of working things out together. Helping, caring, giving, sharing. It's not always going to be easy. For family teamwork takes trying. But the rewards make it all worthwhile. There's nothing better in all the world than the feeling we get when we all pull together as a team, a family team.
All right, so yes, so this is the telecine. I'm rewinding it now. I'm gonna turn off the audio. All right. Yeah, so that's family teamwork. Pretty great. Basically, it's all about kids. Like, kids, come on, kid, pitch in. Stop being so self-obsessed. We're trying to run a family here. Thank you, Mitch, for the coffee. One way that you can reward AV Geeks for showing films during their lunch is by buying us coffee. And you can go to buymeacoffee.com/AVGeeks, and we will spend that money on coffee, maybe lunch, sometimes splicing tape, or something else. But mostly coffee, as that is the drug of choice here at AV Geeks. You can also go to avgeeks.com and see other shows that we've done, and you can buy DVDs there. You can also hit like, subscribe, ring a notification bell, comment, share. Sharing is pretty good. And I just wanted to do a shout out again to the Black Hole Monoplex people that are watching. We tried this as an experiment, and we might continue doing it if those folks like what we did. Yeah. So speaking of drugs, this next film is surprisingly, I don't think I've shown this. Like, I've been showing films for streaming since like mid-March of last year, and we've watched, what's the total now? What are we up to total wise? 1917 films. So surprisingly, I haven't shown this one, or at least I haven't written it down somewhere that I showed it. I'm gonna quickly check just to make sure. Nope. All right, well, here you go. This film is trying to identify with the young generation who are coping with potentially taking a drug, but the metaphors are really weird in this, and I have a feeling that the narrator, Salminio, is not on your side. So here's LSD, Insight, or Insanity.
To 19-year-olds. But just like in the old days, teenagers have always shared one thing in common. They've always found a unique way to express themselves as individuals. And this, of course, would be called group self-expression. Today, just like always, clothes have been the groovy way of really expressing yourself. And teenagers can always be counted on to do something very original and very self-expressive. There's some girls who express themselves in the more simple look. Others do so in highly feminized slacks. And for hemlines, well, this may be the long and short of it. But how much shorter can a skirt get? Hair has always been very important. Yes, even with boys. It's been very short, and even longer than a beetle's. But girls have always had a lot more ways to express themselves through their hair. Why, they could change its color completely. And they can even simplify the entire thing and just go out to a store and buy some hair in any color they like. They can curl it, they can wave it, and they can even iron it so it comes out nice and straight, split ends and all. Certain hairstyles may make it necessary to take a good look to see which is the girl and which is the boy. But that's not true for all boys, especially for those who are trying so desperately to prove their manhood. However, the more personal, the more individual way to prove your manhood was to play chicken. And at one time, a chickie run was considered the best way to prove manhood, dead or alive. For girls, the matter of being chicken and proving yourself as a woman is still frequently based on accepting this kind of dare from a so-called friend. Yes, even adults admit it. Growing up isn't easy, especially if you try to keep up with the dares and fads of some of your more advanced friends. Two of the more advanced fads have to do with drugs.
So why do you want to be down when you can be up? Please just try it once, okay?
Now there's a brilliant argument for you. Why, with the help of a good, kind friend, you can be turned on, blow grass, smoke reefers, or pot, joints, or Mary Janes. Those are just a few of the cool, groovy names for marijuana. And if grass doesn't make it for you, baby, and especially if you need to be... Now, everybody who takes it admits that there's always the risk of a bad trip, a bummer, a freak out. Yes, a kick in the head. Is LSD merely another fad, another dare, another kick? Is it insight or insanity? What do America's leading scientists, doctors, and psychiatrists working with people taking LSD say?
As we see it from a typical psychiatric ward, LSD is certainly much more than a mere fad. Right now we have over a dozen people hospitalized because of acute symptoms resulting directly from their taking LSD. Bizarre fatal accidents and suicide. Because of this, we say that LSD is not just a fad. People are seriously disturbed, some even dead. What is LSD? How does it work? When did it all begin?
It all began in a laboratory very much like this one. In 1938, Dr. Albert Hoffman in Switzerland was looking for new drugs in the treatment of migraine headaches. He had been studying substances that came from the molds that grow on rye plants. Now, it turned out that these substances were of no use in the treatment of migraine headaches, but subsequent investigation showed that they are very fascinating indeed in the changes that they produce in our mental state. It was found that these substances could produce a change in mental state closely resembling some forms of insanity, in particular schizophrenia. However, more interest has centered on the very peculiar symptoms that the drug produces in the subject who is otherwise normal. Normal people react to LSD by seeing strange patterns of wildly moving colors. Time may appear to stand completely still. Faces may appear and then melt away. And at other times, the subject may recall with terrifying detail incidents that are long, long forgotten. At the same time, there is often a loss of the normal cause and effect relationships of things going on in the environment. And this leads to distortion of judgment. One ounce of LSD makes 300,000 doses. An amount of LSD the size of an aspirin tablet can make 3,000 doses. The normal dose is 100 micrograms. An experienced chemist has no difficulty in making it at home. However, we have found that this amateur stuff contains many other substances, dangerous and often deadly. The strength of this amateur stuff is always uncertain. It may contain none, or 10, or 100, or 300, or maybe 3,000 micrograms. We have produced convulsions and death in animals with large doses of LSD.
Nevertheless, in spite of the risks, the word was out. LSD was it. One pill and all unhappiness would vanish. The real meaning of existence would become quickly clear. Such nonsense. Parents, deprived of LSD, did not understand. Soon there was a great public outcry. Lysergic acid diethylamide was tossed out into the streets amidst a raging controversy. Because of this, the only legitimate company manufacturing pure LSD stopped. Many scientists felt that good scientific work was impossible in such a frantic mess. This is unfortunate because there are many basic questions about LSD which remain unanswered. What are the long-term effects in the brain of LSD? Does it cause permanent damage? Some doctors are afraid that it does cause permanent damage, but at this time the facts remain unknown. Many wild and very unscientific claims have been made about LSD.
I've spoken to a large number of young people, asking them, why do you take LSD? They've given me a variety of answers. The most frequent are the following.
I took it the first time because I was curious.
Under LSD, God's not a faraway idea. He's something that's right inside you that you're experiencing now.
I took LSD for a kick.
Man, LSD is like a vitamin for the brain. I mean, to expand your mind.
LSD stimulates creativity in the brain. In other words, it expands your thought processes so that you can take in more.
We gave a series of 50 tests to people before and after LSD. We found that at the end of 6 months following their LSD taking, that they were no more creative when we measured them than they were before they took the LSD. However, their inner feeling of subjective creativity was there. This means, perhaps, that they may have an impression of creativity, but not creativity itself. Creativity is 90% perspiration and only 10% inspiration. And LSD doesn't enhance one's desire to perspire.
LSD is a really groovy way to find out more about the things around you.
LSD helps me understand the whole world better.
LSD helps you to understand your own mind. It releases your mind to you.
LSD is a way about finding out about yourself, about your own problems.
What about the question of self-insight and self-awareness? Is it enhanced under LSD? Well, in over a dozen years of my own research, speaking with hundreds of young people and old, I found that their feeling that they had an increased awareness following LSD is not often borne out by their subsequent behavior. They do not seem to have changed their lifestyle for the better. Indeed, unfortunately, sometimes it is for the worse. On rare occasions, they may obtain valid insights. So often, though, all too often, they do not.
While there are many things that we don't know about LSD, there are a few that we do know. And perhaps the most important one that we do know is that it is absolutely unpredictable who will have a bad experience from LSD or when they will have it. Some people have a bad experience the first time they take the drug. Others take it 30, 60, or even 100 times before their bad trip. And the bad trip? Instant insanity, often a never-never land of no return.
Look out! No, Tommy, no, get away. Get away, Tommy, get away. It's all right. No, get away. Get away. It's all right. Tommy, close it. Tommy, get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. I want it. I'm freaking out. Come on, closer. Come on. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. My mother. My mother. Get me away. Get away.
You're going to be in the hospital. It's going to be all right.
I want to get to bed, but I didn't take much. Somebody bumped me. Gotta get, it's a bummer. Gotta get out of here. Somebody gotta help me. Somebody help me.
This girl is obviously acutely disturbed. She will be in the hospital for a few weeks or a few months. The chances are that she will get well again, at least well enough to leave the ward. Whether she will ever be the same again, have the same personality, the same ambitions, the same abilities to work, to love, to get along with other people, that we won't know for a long time. Some others who take LSD will have even more tragic freakouts, and there's no way to tell which ones these will be. Many lose all contact with reality. For instance, some forget what height means, and in a turned-on or euphoric state, step or attempt to fly from cliffs and high windows with real-life, permanent, non-psychedelic results. Other trippers attempt to merge their beings with large, fast automobiles.
Another uncertainty about LSD is this. We don't know how it works in the body. We don't know the normal chemistry of it in the brain. There are two chemical structures here. Serotonin, a normal chemical found in the brain, and LSD, which has certain similarities to it. But whether these similarities are important or not, we don't know. There's much work to be done. A good deal of important research lies in the future. Hopefully someday we'll have the answers.
There is much conflicting opinion as to why LSD should prove so popular with so many teenagers. Psychiatrists do have some ideas. One is that teenage is a time of life that's full of conflict. It's a time when people are struggling with who they are, what they want to become. A time when they're dealing with their own sexual and angry feelings. It's a time for rebellion, a time for experimentation, a time for dares, a time for fads. It's unfortunate, however, that LSD has proven to be such an in-fad. Unfortunate not because LSD is wicked or sinful of itself, but because it is such an extremely dangerous drug, a drug whose effects are so unpredictable, a drug which so often causes severe, long-lasting damage.
It's up to you. Taking LSD is much the same as playing Russian roulette. You spin the barrel with the one bullet in it, and you take a chance. Any one shot or several. Maybe an exciting and harmless kick. But each time you try, the odds keep growing against you. Until that final kick. It's up to you.
Chicken and square. Come on, baby, express yourself. You don't have to repress yourself, so why be lame? It's the safest new game. It's just like Russian roulette when you're making a bet. A bet that you will swing just like any old thing. It's like pulling the trigger. Without you never can figure that you'll get a kick in the head, a kick in the
The great big end of your life kick in the head.
What, may I ask, is a dear little cupcake like you doing with nasty old school books? My dear child, we haven't had school or books in ages.
No school? Really?
Why don't you get rid of that school book? You can drop them in here.
It'll get all burned up in there.
Well, of course it will, dear child. And so it should. Books tamper with man's basic, natural ignorance. Now, what could be worse than that?
But I can't burn this book. It's school property.
Nonsense! Apple sugar. You just need to get into the mood.
books are not where it's at, teaching you how to spell cat. I know you'd rather play, so why don't you throw all your books away? Books are made for burning, the fire is already yearning to put an end to any learning.
1, 3, 5, 9, throw 'em in, the fire's fine.
Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire.
2, 4, 6, 8, time to incinerate.
Books will not make you wise, and reading's bad for your eyes. I am sure you agree, so why don't you give all your books to me? Books are made for burning, fire is already yearning to put an end to any learning.
This one here is very good about a man named Robin Hood.
Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire.
Though I never liked Tom Sawyer, I won't be a book destroyer.
Books can only confuse, teaching you things you can't use. You should listen to me. Burning your books will set your mind free.
Books are made for burning, fire is already yearning. Put it into any learning. Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire. Books are made for burning, fire is already yearning. Put it into any learning. No, stop!
So that was Books Are for Burning from Magnificent Major, which is a film that I love. It's about the future. That's a young Tisha Campbell goes to the future where books are illegal. And I played that because the film prior to that, LSD Insider Insanity, was that song was at the end was one of the jingles that we competed with to determine what were our top four AV Geeks jingles from films. Of course, Shake Hands with Danger won hands down because it is truly amazing film and amazing song. But I gotta say, man, Books Are for Burning is really good, and I love it. It's so great. LSD Insider Insanity, it's not that great. it's kind of ludicrous, and Sal Mineo singing it is even more ludicrous. But it's I have lots of films that have jingles like this, and so we will be actively competing with Found Footage Festival again next year. When they start doing their toe tapping tournament, we will also do our own, and there's so many more songs that show up in films that we've been watching since the tournament. And I should say that we did win with Shake Hands with Danger. We totally trounced them, and we won that. We got to hold on to our Clown Thanksgiving painting, which I'm pointing at right here, and then we got to get a painting of the club, which is a cable access show that I turned on the Found Footage Festival guys to, and they commissioned a painting based on that. So anyways, thanks so much again, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Stuart, for the coffee. You can buy his coffee at buymeacoffee.com/avgeeks. Also, you can go to avgeeks.com and see other things that we have online. And hitting like and subscribe, it doesn't hurt. Give that a shot. It helps with the algorithms. And will guarantee our entry into heaven when we pass. You can also ring the notification bell, and of course your comments are always great. And so like I'm setting up for the next film and I go to look at the comments, and then I'm like, how did you guys get there? Then I have to like scroll up to kind of look and see like, how did we get to talking about Hello Larry from Family Teamwork? It's hilarious. I love it. I love this kind of bouncing around and all that. So keep it up. So thank you again for giving me your eyeballs. Thank you, folks at Black Hole Monoplex, for hosting us, and those of you watching it, tell the people there that you liked it and you want us to continue doing it there. So thanks again. As always, we look inside the film can and it tells us to please rewind and love each other, and a smiley face with eyelashes. I think those are good things to kind of think about. Be safe. We love you. Take care. See you tomorrow.